One toast, two words. And just like that, the quiet guy everybody called classy all series long set the internet on fire. Jalen Brunson kept his mouth shut for 5 games, won the title, won Finals MVP, then grabbed a mic at the party and said the one thing nobody saw coming. The clip is everywhere, and it is savage. So real quick before we get rolling, when Brunson finally popped off, was that earned after 2 weeks of cheap shots, or just a bad look from a champ? Drop it in the comments. Let's talk about the video, because that is the whole story today. One night after the New York Knicks finished off the San Antonio Spurs to win it all, Brunson is at a friends and family party. Somebody is filming. He grabs the mic, raises a glass, and toasts 2 very simple, very not safe for work words about Victor Wembanyama. The whole room yells it right back. And that little phone clip took off faster than anything the Knicks did on the actual court. Now here is what makes it so good. This is the same Jalen Brunson who spent the entire finals acting like a monk. Reporters tried over and over to bait him into trash talk. They handed him chance after chance to rip Wemby, rip the refs, rip the rough stuff. And every single time, he gave them nothing. Every game starts 0-0. He is the leader. Keep your composure. On and on. The most boring quotes in the building. On purpose. So the second that trophy is locked away and the party cameras come out, the real Brunson finally shows up. No long speech, no careful PR answer. Just a glass in the air and 2 words for the 7'4" guy from San Antonio. And after watching him bite his tongue for 2 straight weeks, you almost cannot blame him for letting it fly. The internet did what the internet does. The clip got passed around by basically every Hoops account alive. A lot of people first caught it through the account Polymarket Hoops, and from there it was off to the races. Knicks fans treated it like the greatest microphone moment in team history. Spurs fans treated it like proof that Brunson was salty the whole time and finally cracked. Both sides screaming at each other in the replies, same as always.
Wembanyama has it, and it's over. Knicks fall short in one of the most thrilling and exhausting games we've ever seen.
The coverage piled up fast, too. Yahoo Sports, Clutch Points, The Mirror, just about every outlet ran the clip and cleaned up the language for their headline. And the bigger picture was clear. The all-business, say-nothing Brunson of the playoffs was gone, and the loose, fun version was back. The man even turned around and announced he is dropping a book. Win a ring, roast your rival, sell a memoir. Busy week for the little guard. And then came the part I enjoy most. A few days later, reporters finally caught up with Brunson and asked him straight up about the toast. His answer? He pleaded the fifth, declined to comment, would not give an inch. So the man will happily shout it at a party with a drink in his hand, but put a notepad in front of him and suddenly he gets shy. Beautiful stuff. He did open up a little bit elsewhere though. Sitting down on The View, of all places, Brunson talked about the famous shove and how he handled it. His whole point was about leadership, about reading the moment and refusing to lose his cool while Wemby was clearly trying to get under his skin. So in public, it is all maturity and composure. At the party, it is 2 words and a raised glass. Both versions are real. That is just Brunson. Meanwhile, on the other side, Wemby did his own viral thing, just the sad version. The final buzzer goes off, the Knicks are celebrating on his home floor, and instead of the normal handshake line, he turns and walks straight to the tunnel. No congrats, no respect, just gone. So before anybody cries about Brunson being classless at a private party, remember the other guy skipped the most basic sportsmanship moment there is, in front of everybody, on national TV. And to be fair, Wemby was not exactly firing shots back. When he finally talked to the press, he did not torch the Knicks at all. He said there was no better experience than what his team had just lived through. So all those made-up versions floating around of Wemby snapping some savage goodbye line at New York are just that, made up. The real guy was gutted and gracious. even if that quick walk to the tunnel said something a little louder. All right, let me back up and explain why a guy known for saying nothing suddenly had 2 angry words ready to go. This rivalry did not start at that party. It got cooked over a long, nasty series. And honestly, it goes back way further than that.
Watch this play. This is what frustrated Brunson. Oh, whoa! That's, excuse me, that should be a flagrant one. I can understand why Brunson and then Wemby's laughing at it.
Start with the finals themselves, because they were a war. Wemby was physical with Brunson all series long, and not the clean kind of physical. The moment everybody points to is Wemby basically shoving Brunson to the floor by his head. Then, in the closeout game, with the title on the line, Wemby stepped right into Brunson's landing spot on a jumper. Brunson rolled his ankle and went down in real pain. The refs? They swallowed the whistle. No call. A play a lot of people felt should have been a flagrant got nothing. And a flagrant right there could have sent Wemby to the locker room early. And this was not Wemby's first dance with the rough stuff in these playoffs. He came into the finals already carrying flagrant points from earlier rounds, which is a big part of why that no call in the closeout mattered so much. One more flagrant could have put him in real danger of a suspension. There was also a moment in Game 4 where he caught Karl Anthony Towns with an elbow and picked up a penalty point, basically flirting with sitting out a finals game. So the physical edge was a pattern, not a one-time slip. So Brunson was eating cheap contact for 2 weeks, keeping a straight face the whole time, and still putting up monster numbers. Let's get into those numbers, because this is where it stops being noise and starts being a resume. In the closeout game, Brunson dropped 45 points. That is a Knicks finals record. It is also tied for the 3rd most points ever in a championship-clinching game, sitting behind only Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bob Pettit. Not bad company for a guy who supposedly is too small to be a number 1 option. For the series, he averaged 32.6 points a night and walked off with the Finals MVP trophy. And get this, he is only the 2nd player in New York Knicks history to ever win Finals MVP. The first was a franchise legend named Willis Reed. And it was not just the raw total. Brunson was ice in the clutch, pouring in 22 points in the final 5 minutes of close fourth quarters across the series, the most clutch scoring by anyone in a finals in 15 years. In the closeout, he hit a go-ahead floater with about 65 seconds left, then knocked down 3 straight free throws to lock in that scoring record. When the lights were brightest, the so-called too small guard was the one taking and making the biggest shots in the gym. The series itself was the kind of thing you could not script. The Knicks won it 4-1, but every single game was a heart attack. New York fell behind by double digits in all 5 games and just kept clawing back. The wildest one was Game 4, where they were down by 29 points and still came all the way back to win 107-106 on a last-second tip-in from OG Anunoby. That was the biggest comeback in finals history. Then they slammed the door in Game 5, 94-90, on the road. And do not let the 4-1 record fool you into thinking it was a blowout. The number crunchers called it maybe the best 5-game finals ever played. Every game was within 5 points in the final 5 minutes, something that had never happened in a finals before. The Spurs even won all 5 first quarters by a combined 57 points and built a double-digit lead in every game. None of it mattered. The Knicks kept flipping the switch after halftime and stealing games San Antonio had no business losing. To even get to that stage, New York swept the Cleveland Cavaliers to reach its first finals since 1999, riding an 11-game playoff win streak. San Antonio, on the other side, knocked off the reigning champion Oklahoma City Thunder in a brutal 7-game series out west. So both of these guys arrived hot, both carrying conference finals MVP trophies, and both convinced they were about to be the story of the summer. Only one of them got to be. And people watched. That Game 5 pulled in around 24.5 million viewers across ABC and ESPN, the most watched finals closeout since 1998. So all this drama was not happening in some empty gym. The whole country was tuned in. For the Knicks, it ended a 53-year title drought, their first championship since 1973, the 3rd in team history. Give Wemby his due here because he was a real problem all series. He averaged around 26 points, 11 rebounds, and nearly 4 blocks a night in his first ever finals, which is absurd for a 22-year-old. In the closeout alone, he swatted 5 shots in the first half and grabbed 14 boards. The Knicks did not beat Wemby by outplaying him one-on-one. They beat him by gang tackling him, wearing him down on defense, and surviving his runs until he finally ran out of help around him. Now, here is the older root of all this, the thing the toast really traces back to. Roll it all the way back to March 29th, 2024, at Frost Bank Center. Brunson goes off for a career-high 61 points, the second highest scoring game in Knicks history. You would think that is the headline, right? Nope, because that same night, a young Wembanyama posted 40 points, 20 rebounds, and 7 assists. The first 40-20 game by a rookie since Shaquille O'Neal back in 1993. So Brunson's career night got completely buried under the Wemby show. Then it got personal. After sealing that 130-126 overtime win, Wemby grabbed the game ball and chucked it into the stands. The problem? That was Brunson's 61-point ball, a real piece of history he probably wanted to keep. The Knicks had to send a ball boy sprinting up into the crowd to grab it back from some random fan. The league fined Wemby $25,000 for it. He shrugged it off and said he meant nothing by it. But you can bet Brunson filed that one away, because guys remember stuff like that for years. And that is what this whole thing is really about underneath the fouls and the toast. It is two completely opposite stories about how you reach the top. Brunson is the grinder. He went 33rd overall in the 2018 draft, heard for years that he was too short and not a real lead guy, and clawed out every bit of respect he ever got. Wemby is the opposite. Nike literally rolled out a global campaign branding him as the alien before he had played one NBA minute. Posters, slogans, the whole machine. The hype was built for him on day one, while Brunson had to build his own brick by brick. So when the entire finals coverage kept circling back to Wemby's future and Wemby's ceiling, while Brunson was the one actually carrying his team to the title, you can see why a guy who scratched for everything might get a little hot about it. It was never really about talent. Brunson knows Wemby is special. It was about the spotlight, and who keeps getting handed it for free. You want one more layer? Go back to Becky Hammon. A while back, she went on TV and said the Knicks did not have a real number one guy, that you have to have a dude, and Brunson was not that dude in her eyes. People kept bringing it up as New York went deeper and deeper, and she stood by it. Well, now Brunson has a ring, a Finals MVP, and a 45-point closeout game. And word is, he is not getting any apology from Hammon anytime soon. So that little fire is still burning too. Spurs fans did fire back with one halfway decent point. Brunson runs a popular podcast with teammate Josh Hart, where the two of them talk plenty of friendly trash about players around the league. So some folks asked why it is fine when Brunson dishes it out, but a problem when Wemby plays a little rough. Fair enough as a question. Then again, joking on a podcast and shoving a guy by his head are not quite the same sport. Still, it kept the whole argument spinning for days. Here is one more wrinkle people forgot. This was not even the first time these two met with something on the line this season. Back in December, the Knicks beat this same Spurs team 124-113 in the NBA Cup championship game. So New York already had San Antonio's number before the finals tipped off. By the time the toast happened, Brunson had spent basically a full year getting the better of Wemby's squad. That glass in the air was just the cherry on top. And do not miss what this moment really did for Brunson's image. For years, the book on him was simple. Great guy, great worker, boring interview, too nice to have a real edge. That toast flipped the script in about 6 seconds. Turns out the polite, say-the-right-things captain had a competitive mean streak the whole time. He just kept it zipped up until the trophy was safe. Fans love a villain turn from the good guy, and Brunson handed them one without even trying. The quiet ones are always the ones to watch. Put it all together and the toast makes total sense. The cheap shots, the game ball from years ago, the doubters, the constant Wemby hype, all of it bottled up while he kept a straight face for the cameras. Then the job gets finished. The ring is his, The city throws a parade up the Canyon of Heroes, and out comes 2 words at a party. It was not random. It was years in the making, and the man had earned the right to say whatever he wanted. And this is not the end of it, not even close. The sportsbooks already have the Spurs as a top favorite for next season, hovering around plus 250, with the Knicks right up there too, around plus 650. So these two are very likely going to keep crashing into each other on the biggest stage. Brunson got the last word this time, on the court and at the microphone. But something tells me Wemby will have a few words of his own ready the next time around. And this rivalry is only just getting started.